Remember, the show is interactive. You can send us a WhatsApp message 0550-585-832. And do remember that if you're texting us from beyond the shores of Ghana, prefix the number with the country code +233. Also use the hashtag Breakfast Daily across all social media platforms, okay? Now, let's take a look at something that I hope will move you this morning. Citi FM, Citi TV every year embarks on a project called the Help a Christmas Child Project. So we don't just have fun during Christmas. We also look at our community, our society, our surroundings, and look at the things that we need to address. Now you, our viewers and our listeners for radio, have always been with us on this journey. So just take a look at this, and when we come back, we'll have a conversation.
My name is Kojo Ajman, a broadcast journalist with Citi FM and Citi TV. I entreat you to support a worthy cause. I need you to donate to the Citi FM Foundation. Your donation will help the foundation pay the medical bills of some patients who are on admission at the National Reconstructive Plastic Surgery and Burns Center of the Korle Teaching Hospital. Your donation will make a huge difference in their lives. Your donation to the Citi FM Foundation will also help renovate a critical ward at the center, the Burns ward. This is why you should be a part of this worthy cause.
That's in May. No, Saturday, I'm a smart song for Tokuku. Until we will find no mechanic say, me banato, or your no mudi chipusin.
Or she say, you're dying, you're swallowing any need digestion.
They can you mean sure, na keke crazy shui, it will me make Beman chase. La mo beke, ne bonsha.
From my adoko Sibi. Me banisu de Lordina adokoda. If you could, or she say, you're dying, you're swallowing any need digestion. Now, you're fine in hospital. Almost so meeting. Now, almost ran fair back.
In 2019, the Citi FM Foundation, through your generosity, paid the medical bills of Michael, Lordina, Shakira, Daniel, and many other children who were on admission at the Burns ward of the National Reconstructive Plastic Surgery and Burns Center of the Korle Teaching Hospital while we were all enjoying Christmas. We have come to you again to help put smiles on the faces of many more who must spend the festive season in their hospital beds at the Burns units.
Between January and November 2021, over 100 children were admitted at the National Reconstructive Plastic Surgery and Burns Center of the Korle Teaching Hospital. It is sad to note that 1/3 of these children died because their parent or guardians did not get the needed financial support for their healing process.
Your widow's mite is more than enough to give these wonderful kids something to smile about at this critical moment of their lives.
What you're about to see in this room should compel you or touch your heart to support, put a smile on the faces of kids or children on admission at this ward.
The story of 4-year-old Prince is heartbreaking and is one that needs your intervention.
Show me Cynthia so in become I say actually Prince Jamie some. Woje tashi mobile. Ofine oat ni manwe. Wale bene fe ni sa oat ni fe hwe no. Yo what like man. Ya le na transfer ke ba kolebu. Bia ne we kolebu. Oat manwe. Wale bene fe ni shi oat ni fe hwe no. What like man. Ya le je na transfer ke ba kolebu.
9 months old Hatim is in a similar situation.
My name is Hassana Ahmed from Takrade. This is my son Hatim Ahmed. He's 9 months old. Actually, what happened was on the 28th of last month. He was in the bedroom with the siblings watching TV. But he has this walker, he normally sits in and walk about with it. I didn't know he's that tall enough to get to the door. So he opened the door, went to the corridor. I don't know, I think he was looking for someone. Went to the corridor, went to the kitchen. I had this small bucket of heated water to fertilize their bottles. So as he went to the kitchen, he tried to grab it and he couldn't lift it. So he just left it and the water went all over. So that was really what happened. He's just I don't want to go there. He's just a happy child. He's bubbly. He's a handful. He's even with this, I think he's trying to give me the hope to hold on. Yeah. Seeing him like this really brings me to tears because at times I have to stand there all night. I'm trying so hard not to cry.
Very heartbreaking, very, very emotional, very heart-wrenching in so many ways. But Kujo Ajiman, who did the documentary, is here with us, and he's here together with the Deputy Chief Nursing Officer, Mary Mensah. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So now, of course, Auntie Mary, you're from the National Reconstructive and Plastic Surgery Unit at Korle.
Yes.
Yes, and I can't begin to imagine how you feel every day seeing things like this. I mean, you also have adults at the center,
Yes.
the children.
The children.
What's it like for you, day in, day out, seeing some of these things?
I would say it's a calling, because from what we've just seen, if you've not been called, I think you'll be frustrated and you'll just land your frustration on the poor patient. So you must be called to do such a work.
Could you walk us through the emotions of producing a documentary like this? I mean, listen, I like documentaries. This is painful to watch though. I honestly don't know what it's like for you to go through and prepare, put this together.
So David, when I was called again to do this documentary, it took me back to 2019 when we did the first one for the Help a Christmas Child. But in my mind, I was just prepared to go and deliver, but I got there and I was so emotional. So I saw Prince's mother. She started crying after the first question I asked her.
Prince is the one who
was trying to stir
the
oats cooking. Yeah, and it poured on him.
Yeah.
The first question I asked her, she started tearing up. And I had to stop for some time for her to, reorganize herself and then get back to the conversation. Throughout the conversation, she was tearing up. It got to me.
Yeah.
Because I also have kids. And the same thing could have happened to them.
Yeah.
The next one was Joel, who also got burnt as a result of the mother just left her within some few minutes, and he crawled to and fell into a hot soup. Hot. If it's water, sometimes water just gets to the first and second layer, but with the soups,
the temperature is higher.
It's thick. The thickness
is very. So I mean, for me, it was emotional, and it got to a point that I had to even support some of them financially. So I got to one. I think it's Kate's son, right? Yeah, Caleb, who needed just 100 Ghana cedis to change the bandage. That's what the dressing. And she had called the husband who had lost a job, family and friends and all that. And
wow.
So when she told me that even this morning we need, I said, no, woman, I stopped the interview and I gave her money that you need to change it now, because the longer it keeps infections and everything. So for me, it was an emotional journey for me. And what was surprising is that in 2019, the numbers, I mean, were not that much. 2 years down the line, over 100 children come to the ward. I mean, because of various degrees of burns.
What I want to find out from you, Aunt Mary, is what is it that is shooting up the numbers? What are we experiencing? Why are we getting these cases increasing?
I would say because of the work of the caretakers, the parents. Now they have to, the economy, to most people, they have to struggle to make ends meet.
So they're not paying as much attention to the
children as they should. Attention, and I would say not having enough education.
You know, when my daughter was born and we were doing the outdooring, right, my pastor, who is a medical doctor, prayed a certain prayer, and he said, deliver her from hot water, deliver her from hot oil, deliver her from... And, you know, for somebody who is not a medical person, it's like,
it's a normal
okay,
thing for you.
what kind of, you know, what kind of, it's like extra prayer kind of thing, you know. But how real is this for you on a daily basis? How dangerous is it for little children? I mean, you must see this all the time, every day. I mean,
the children are really vulnerable because parents or a mother may leave food that she is preparing unattended to, just that, or maybe I'm picking something and come. The next moment she comes and the child has either pulled a cloth or try to hold the handle, try to really experiment what the mother was doing. And that brings to mind we not allowing children to play around and at the kitchen, because once they are watching you, the next moment that you are not there, they would like to experiment.
Which is only natural. It's only natural, you know. A child wants to copy, mimic. That's what he does.
In fact, toddlers at that stage, or children at that stage, they are toddlers. They are adventurous.
And curious.
Yes.
So the magic here is that you should create a no-go zone around your kitchen for such kids. If the person is not a teenager responsible enough to know the difference between danger and comfort, don't allow the kid around the kitchen.
My children, I mean, right from the get-go, they know we don't play in the kitchen. If you need something from the kitchen, you have to ask. You can go, you can play with your toys, walk around, but the kitchen, you don't go there. So they always say it themselves, we don't play in the kitchen. Mommy says we'll play in the kitchen. Mommy, I want water, I can't go to the kitchen. And you tell them simple things. There's fire there. If you go there, you can get hurt. But so back to the whole thing about education, because even the way we live, I mean, I remember when I was growing up, my mother taught me, and later on in you know, doing a bit of culinary school and what's not. So when you put a pan on the stove, you don't leave it for the handle to face the front. It should be turned to the back, because even just walking by, you can knock it down. So these little things. But it's also Christmas time, and so children are at home on vacation. I mean, mine are on vacation. They've been shipped off to grandma this morning, you know, because we have to work. and I'm sure a lot of people are trying to figure out the kids, you know. Parents are still working. So I want us to speak to somebody, in fact, no mean person, but Nanaya Akwada from he's the chief of party of the Bureau of Public Safety. So you can also talk to us about some of these things and things that parents should be looking out for this season. And so with your permission, Auntie Mary and Kojo, please let's speak to Nanaya Akwada. Nanaya, good morning.
Hey, good morning, and good morning to the team in the studio.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I trust you guys are well too.
Oh yes, we are.
Yeah, we're very well. Thank you. Yeah. How prevalent is this situation of children being exposed to dangerous situations with fire, hot water, hot oil? In the case of the documentary that we were watching, a pot of oats, hot oats, pours over the kid, and all of that. As far as your outfit is concerned, what are we looking at in terms of the numbers?
Well, David, it's sad, but I wish I could say it's prevalent and just rest in there. The unfortunate truth and the hard reality is that it is very common in our social setup. Children being exposed to very dangerous, sometimes traumatic situations. And some of these situations actually go ahead to shape the children's view of the world. And so it's easy to predict the kind of society we will be having in a few years to come. This is because, unlike back in the days, we benefited from a system where children who are even loitering around will be arrested, their parents will be prosecuted. We benefited from a system where it's easy for social welfare department to press charges against parents who are found negligent in circumstances that pose dangers to children's health and safety. But now that kind of system is almost missing. We have very weak social support systems. We do not have what I prefer to call law enforcement coordinating systems in place for in our society, as in schools, hospitals, churches, etc. And I'll come back to this very soon. Let me say that recently we've had the GES, because I was glad to hear you talk about what steps we need to take in order to ensure that children are safe. Recent introduction, the passage of the National Road Safety Law has enabled the GES to incorporate aspects of road safety in the GES curriculum. We would want to see more of that coming from the civic education unit, more coming from other sectors like the social welfare unit, making input into the academic, trail, so that children growing up will learn of basic things and basic responsibilities that they need to take in order to secure family and society. That said, I indicated that we had weak social support systems. Look, it is common now to see. Last year, I had an unpleasant challenge of having my clothes torn apart because I went to drop my kids in school. I saw a mentally retarded woman literally whipping, beating to pulp her own child because she was angry that the child is not walking fast enough. And so she was whipping the girl, and the girl was running throughout. And upon confrontation, I didn't know she was mentally challenged. She pounced on me. She tore my clothes apart. I still have pictures of these in place. So that is the kind of society we are having. The social support system is so weak. It's only here that we see mentally challenged persons who are bearing children in their arms, walking on the street, sometimes begging, other times just abandoned. And when we have a system like this, we would always be endangering the lives of the next generation. Our schools, elsewhere in very civilized, advanced societies where they value human life, your child could go to school with just a mark on her body, and the next moment, the police is knocking on your door. That is effective,
You are
law
summoned to go and
enforcement
answer
coordination
questions in an
system.
interrogation room.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we are lacking here. The law enforcement coordinating systems is lacking. The social support systems is lacking. And so constantly, children are being exposed to danger. And I know that the next question will be, so this Christmas, what should we be doing?
Yeah.
If I predicted your question right.
Yes, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Good. So this Yuletide, children are going to be home with us. Most of us who are on break are going to, try to cover up for all the fatigue that we've run through this year. This year has been one of the most difficult years, 2 years running, very difficult for parents who would want to sleep and wake up late and, take it easy. But this is also the time that the children are home with us. We must take them through basic education, basic safety education, what not to do. I heard someone saying the kitchen is a no-go area for the children for play. We must draw these lines for the children. Let them know what electrical equipment they cannot, tamper with, what problems, at what point in time they must necessarily, seek approval or authorization from you to do what and what not to do. We must get them to go through. Our children are going to play with tablets. The tablets are going to run out of battery. Are we going to allow them to plug these devices in and continue to use them? Or we are going to give them strict rules on once they plug these devices in, they should let them be, and that if they don't do, we see them once, we must, hard penalty measures like bans on them. If I see you doing this 1 week, you will not touch it. We must take them through all of these to do's and not to do's and don'ts. Once we are able to get all of these things in place, we will be assured there's a certain minimum level of safety whilst they are at home. And then we must take them through also fire education, what to do, what not to do, when to call and when not to call, and all those things. At least the basic rules of safety must apply in the home, i.e. water, fire, and electricity. We must take them through all of this and make sure we are done with it. And once you take it once, it will be following. It's not rocket science. They are every day going through the same motions as while they are home. They will switch on TV, they will switch to tablet, they will come back to TV, they will switch to tablet, they will go to kitchen wanting to warm food. And all that. Those are basic things that we need to run every family through. And let me use your platform that this is a good time for the Ghana National Fire Service to embark on one of their critical mandates, community education, because at this moment, everyone is at home. It would be great to see Ghana National Fire Service get some guy dressing in, a Santa Claus clothing, move into the communities. A few bags of toffees, children will come around, give them education. 10 minutes is a happy time that will impact on their lives. It will get you the firemen also to be at home and not to be running after fire. So this is a good time for the Ghana National Fire Service. It's a good time for the Ghana Police Service to go into the communities and educate the community, because everyone is at home.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Nanaya Akwada, for spending some time with us this morning. That was Nanaya Akwada, the Chief of Party with the Bureau of Public Safety. All right, so, one of the things that I know my mom always does when the grandchildren are around is she tapes over the sockets, tapes over every socket. She doesn't play, with that. It's not, seriously. And I used to say, it's like a little extra, but you'll be surprised how, as for the children, once they see there's something there, they want to go and play, they want to investigate.
Because they know when they switch it on, the lights will come on. It's interesting,
they
it's
want
exciting.
to investigate.
And sometimes you might think that, the plugs are off, but then power will still be in there because you might find a faulty socket or something like that. You should just make sure that. And one thing I would like to add is that knowing what to do as a parent when the incident occurs.
Yeah.
So, whilst I was talking to most of the parents, they were like, "Oh, after seeing that my son was burned, I just poured water on the." No, you are aggravating the situation. There are things that you need to apply. If it's a balm, you talk to that. If it's a balm, or maybe if you have aloe vera and everything, you can smear it on that before the first aid is very, very important. But you don't use water. Most of them, prints like that, the mother said, "Oh, ni nake ni ebano in kenu issue." When she saw that the thing happened, she poured water. That is serious.
Please walk us through those first steps, before we rush to the hospital. What should parents do?
It depends on what caused the burn. So if it's hot water or hot soup or porridge, the best thing first, take the child out of where the thing occurred. Then you pour cold water. She was saying water. It should be cold, but it shouldn't be frozen.
Not
or
ice.
Not ice. No, if not, you will worsen the case. So just cold water. You just run it over the child. Then you get a clean cloth to cover the child, and you run to the hospital. Where your place from the hospital is a bit far. If you have paracetamol at home, you can give the child just something according to the age to take care of the pain whilst you send the child to the hospital.
What are some of the other situations that will probably do something a bit different?
Like something that is not acceptable.
So for example, if it's maybe it's not porridge or water or something liquid, but maybe the child touches hot coals from a coal pot or fire from a gas burner, how do you deal with a situation like that?
Fire from, you want something to cool the place, so ordinary water, tepid water would do. Ordinary tepid water. Then you just, if it's something that is small that wouldn't need to go to hospital, just as Kojo just said, a balm, like aloe vera or petroleum gel will do. Then you give the child paracetamol and you rest the part. Resting the part is important, and you elevate the part. You elevate it. When you elevate it, it reduces swelling and reduces pain as well. You shouldn't be hung down. No. When it's hung down, the body fluid will just go in that direction, and it will increase the pain as swelling increases. So you have to try to lift the thing. So you can just put some collar and cuff around the child so that the hand will be held up. So
now, for parents who do not have a formal kitchen setup, like our traditional kitchen setup, you do not carry hot water to the bucket you want to pour the water into. You rather take the bucket to the hot water area. You do not put the child on your laps whilst you have a hot substance in front of you. It's a no-no. And also, you do not sip in hot stuff whilst the child is observing. Because mind you, they are watching, they may practice. Oh, daddy drank a hot porridge. Let me do the same thing. And it will be disastrous.
So I mean, again, teaching the kids things like, oh, when the food is ready, it's hot. It has to be cold. Then they all understand that. Yeah, so now they come and ask you, oh, mommy or daddy, is the food cold enough? Is it time to eat? Things like that. Okay, so we need to wrap up this conversation, but Kojo and Timmy, unfortunately, Prince, who we saw in the documentary, he's the one again who the hot oats was poured on, has unfortunately passed away. He passed away on Saturday. I can't begin to imagine what his mother is going through. I don't know for how long she would most likely blame herself. It must be difficult.
It is a difficult moment for the mother.
It must be difficult.
Because she told me that even for her to get money for transportation from Lekma to Korle, she had to call on neighbors.
Wow.
And yes, neighbors and then friends. So, I mean, it goes back to the point that money is not easy to come by these days. So as a parent, you should put on your antennas 360. When the child is, wherever you find your child, make sure that the child is in a safe zone. Sharp objects, no. Hot liquids, electricity stuff, no. Make sure that those things are not around your kid, or else you should find yourself. But then Prince is not the only child. It's unfortunate that he's passed on. In 2021 alone, this year, Auntie Mary tells me that their records indicates that over 100 children were brought in with various degrees of burns, and 1/3 of those children died.
Wow.
Because of financial issues.
And the severity of the burn.
The burns.
Okay. So basically, at least 30 children have died because of the severity of a burn.
And you know, for the healing process of, such a child to be, let's say, 80%, you need money. You need money. Auntie Mary and then Dr. Ampuma again tell me that you will not spend not less than 9,000 or 10,000 for the food,
for just dressing,
and even the food, the protein that it. What's the name of the drug you took?
Whey protein.
Yes, whey protein is very expensive.
Very expensive.
Because they need to build
their immune system. To get enough nutrients to cover, not only care for the person, but the skin loss. For its replacement, the patient or the child has to eat very well. Very well.
So this is why, and we were at the National Reconstructive Plastic Surgery and Burns Unit at Korle in 2019. Because of COVID last year, we couldn't really go in. This year we're going back again, and this is why we're going, because we saw what was going on there. Indeed, some patients had even been discharged, but their mothers, their fathers, their siblings were sleeping by their bedsides because they couldn't pay the fees for them to be discharged. Doctors, nurses, good doers had come through and spent all their money. People also have their own families, and they didn't have any extra to pay off the bills of these people. In some cases, it was 1,000 cedis, 2,000 cedis that we just needed to write off a bill.
And in fact, let me chip in this. Auntie Mary and then Dr. Ampuma and the team there are doing a great job. So now there are certain liquids or for consumables in the hospital that they produce themselves.
So that
take care. And that is also money.
It's also money.
That is also money.
Also money.
That is also
the treatment for burns is very costly, and the bill of the patients when discharged ranges between 900 to 1,000. That's if there is no surgery.
So no skin grafting.
No skin grafting. But when skin grafting comes, 5,000 and over. And before the person's wound will get healed, he or she has exhausted all the resources. All the resources.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen situations where some children, where their parents or families have even been able to raise the money. Now there's no money for them to go back to school. And they are sitting at home. There's no money for them to eat properly. So now malnutrition sets in, and that's another medical issue that brings them back to the hospital. And they are following their parents around, exposed once again to these very dangers that put them in the hospital bed in the first place. So we came to you once, we're coming to you again. Please, we need your donations. As for Citi FM, Citi TV, we are doing what we can, we always will, but we need your support once more. We really, really, really do. And so, please, the information is on your screen. 0550 900 006. You can send mobile money to that number. No amount is too small. You heard Kojo say that at some point he even had to pay 100 cedis
for dressing.
And I can imagine that if that 100 cities hadn't come that day, the next day we'll be dealing with an infection, which would have escalated into the thousands. So please, no amount is too small. Sometimes I hear people say, as for me, I don't have money, I want to help, but I don't have money. No amount is too small. We've had people send 50 cities. People on retirement, pensioners, come and bring their widow's mite. Some bring drinks because we're also throwing a party for these children. Some of them cannot leave the hospital. They are not ready to be discharged. The environment outside the hospital is not safe enough for them yet. So we will be throwing a party for them. We'll take food, we'll take drinks, books for some of them to read. We need money to buy those things as well, to pay the caterers and whatnot. And whatever money is left, of course, goes towards their treatment. So please, 0550 900 006 for mobile money. You can also come to the front desk of Citi FM and Citi TV. Come give the money. Receipts are issued for whatever you bring. Even if you bring the drinks and the food, we give you receipts for that. You know, so
and if you're going to make out a check, do it in the name of the Citi FM Foundation. Okay, it's the Citi FM Foundation. Write a check and all these payments. By the way, we are just directly behind the Adabaka police station. So in case you're looking for us, you want to come here, you can come.
Now there's Google Maps. You can just key in Citi FM, Citi, we'll bring you straight here.
Right here.
You know, very easy. But please, so we Kojo, thank you so much. Thank you so much for going there. I mean, I don't know how many journalists could walk into a space like that and have the heart to finish a full documentary. But it's a story that needed to be told. And thank you for telling the story. Thank you. Thank you.